You know, for over 2,000 years, there's been this one ancient military text that's been a secret weapon, not just for generals on the battlefield, but for CEOs, entrepreneurs, and strategists in the boardroom. So the big question is Sun Tzu's Art of War really the ultimate playbook for modern business? Let's dive in and find out.
I'm sure you've heard this one. This iconic line from Wall Street pretty much locked in the idea of the art of war as the go-to manual for, ruthless corporate takeovers. It became this ultimate symbol of aggressive, win-at-all-cost business.
So how in the world did a 2,500-year-old text become the favorite of Wall Street titans? Well, it all starts with this popular misunderstanding, this myth of Sun Tzu as Hollywood's favorite warlord.
Okay, so you have this classic Chinese text, right? It was required reading for executives in Japan for ages. But then, in the 1980s, it just exploded in the West. People saw it as a guide to pure conflict, which was, let's be honest, a perfect fit for an era of hostile takeovers and intense competition.
And it's really easy to see why that connection was made. I mean, think about it. The way we talk about business sounds a lot like war. We launch marketing campaigns, we have corporate officers, and we're always fighting for that first-mover advantage. The metaphor just feels so natural, which is why the book was adopted so quickly.
And this popular take on Sun Tzu, it often boils down to one very famous and very misunderstood idea, the deception doctrine.
Yep, this is the quote everyone knows. It's powerful, it's provocative, and most people take it to mean that the absolute core of Sun Tzu's strategy is just to mislead, to outwit, and to trick your competitors until they give up.
But really, if that's all it was, would we still be talking about this thousands of years later? Is it all just about being sneaky? The surprising answer is no, not even close. That is not the whole story.
And this brings us to the real heart of his philosophy, something about winning without a fight. And honestly, it's way more subtle and frankly way more brilliant than simple deception.
This one idea just completely flips everything we thought we knew on its head. The greatest skill, according to Sun Tzu, isn't winning 100 battles. No, it's getting what you want without ever having to fight in the first place. You see, Sun Tzu was a pragmatist. He knew that open conflict is just incredibly expensive. In business, think of a price war. Sure, maybe you drive a competitor out of business, but you'll probably destroy your own profit margins and trash the whole market while you're at it. His whole point was to find a better, smarter way to win that saves your resources and leaves the state, or, the market, intact.
So, if the goal is to win without fighting, how do you actually do it? Well, this is where we get into Sun Tzu's modern playbook. And it's a surprisingly clear, actionable strategy that is incredibly relevant today.
Okay, so it really breaks down into 4 core strategies. Know yourself and your enemy, avoid their strength and attack their weakness, use speed and surprise, and build alliances. Let's dig into a couple of these and see what they actually look like in the real world.
First up, know yourself and your enemy. Today, we just call this competitive intelligence. But it's so much more than a SWOT analysis. It's about using data to understand the market so deeply that you can see what's coming next. A fantastic modern example of this is Amazon's anticipatory shipping patent. They use data to predict what you're going to buy and start shipping it before you even click the button. I mean, that's modern foreknowledge right there.
Second, avoid your competitor's strength and attack their weakness. A direct head-on assault is just draining, and it almost never works. Take a look at Costco. Instead of trying to compete with Walmart on its massive selection and low prices, which are its biggest strengths, Costco found a gap. They attacked the lack of a bulk membership-based model and carved out their own incredibly profitable space without getting into a direct street fight. Third, speed. In the world we live in now, this has never been more critical. The story of Nokia is just a chilling example. Their CEO famously said, "We didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost." See, they weren't outsmarted by one single competitor, they were simply outpaced by the speed of change itself. In today's market, speed isn't just an advantage, it's survival. But, Sun Tzu knew that even the most brilliant strategy on paper is totally useless without the right person to actually execute it. And that brings us from the playbook to the mind of a leader. Sun Tzu laid out 5 crucial qualities for any leader.
They have to be wise and strategic, of course, but also trustworthy, benevolent, courageous, and disciplined. His point was that you just can't unite a team or pull off a complex strategy if you lack character. For Sun Tzu, leadership and strategy weren't separate things, they were two sides of the very same coin.
So let's circle all the way back to our original question. Is business really war? Because as we've seen, that whole pop culture idea of the art of war is just one small misunderstood piece of a much, much deeper strategic puzzle.
And this brings us to the real lesson. Is the goal of business to win a brutal, zero-sum war for market share? Or is it about applying intelligence, knowledge, and strategy so effectively that you create a position for yourself where you have no real rivals at all? That is the strategic artistry Sun Tzu was really talking about.